Very quickly, before I go and water the tomatoes, most exciting thing that's happening in this house at the minute. I'm going to be watching what happens over the next few days with Bridget Phillipson and the unions and the threat of a strike. Obviously, I'm interested anyway, but I'm really interested in how she responds and what her priority, her agenda is. They are asking for significantly more money than the government is offering. And from what we're told from Rachel Reeves, there is no money. There is nothing to give them. So how is she going to respond to that? Because at the heart of this is disruption. And Bridget Phillipson herself has said it is indefensible for a child to have their education disrupted through a strike. Now, it wasn't indefensible for her to disrupt the education of 56,000 children, and that's the government's figures. It wasn't indefensible for her to do it and have those children move from independent into the state sector. That apparently was okay. She hadn't factored into that those 56,000 children moving into state would, of course, disrupt the state system and the kids already in that. She glossed over that. But I think now the reality is beginning to hit. The teachers are not happy with the conditions they've got, the pay they've got, the hours they've got already. And they're about to be flooded with these children, the government's own figures, that are coming from the independent sector into state. Now, Daniel Kebede is absolutely militant on this. He is saying it's not good enough and we will strike if we have to. We will hold the government to ransom. And she's in a corner. How is she going to get out of that corner? And I'm watching it from a moral perspective. Who does she put first? So will she cave to the unions? Has she got anywhere to go? And what happens to the children if she doesn't? The indefensible striking. And why is it indefensible that the children in state education can't have their education disrupted or can have their education disrupted, but it's not indefensible for children in the independent sector to have their education disrupted at her own hand? So let's remember that the person that she's accusing, Daniel Kebede, of potentially carrying out an indefensible act is possibly going to do exactly what she's already done with Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer, which is disrupt education. Now, if this is so unpalatable, how did she do it herself? How could she sign it off herself? And I'm interested to see what negotiations she enters into, how she deals with the unions. We know she's had 33 meetings with them and not one with the independent sector. So again, I mean, the double standards and the hypocrisy, but it's also direct discrimination. So how is this going to play out, and where is this money going to come from? Now, a lot of it could have come from the 4 KCs in the legal case. And we have all of this playing on a backdrop of knowing that the VAT policy wasn't going to make any money. Bridget Phillipson and Rachel Reeves knew that if 56,000 children moved over their figures, then there would be no money. So there is no money to raid from the independent sector. That's not going to help her out of this hole. And in fact, she's probably got herself further into this hole by the legal spend on the court case. She's also got to fund more children coming into the state sector. Where's she going to find that money from? She said they weren't going to, but they are. So they now need funding. So what will be really interesting is seeing how she gets out of this and how she deals with Daniel Kebede and what he's got in his pocket. But at the heart of this is the message that we're hearing over and over and over from Bridget Phillipson. It is indefensible to disrupt a child's education. So we need to apply that to her, where she has disrupted tens of thousands of children in the independent sector and vicariously through that tens of thousands of children in the state sector. This is not independent versus state. This is child versus child. This is now affecting every parent who has a child in the state and the independent sector. Every parent that has a child in education, this is directly affecting negatively. So I am going to watch this like a hawk, and I'm really interested to see how she navigates it. And I mean, I don't envy her. She's in a very difficult position. But she was told over and over what would happen if she went ahead with this. And she did it. So let's see. Need to go and water my tomatoes. I'm very excited about them. But I've got to work out when you do the pinching out bit. And I think I need sort of like direct dial to Monty Don or Adam Frost or someone. How do I pinch my tomatoes out? I haven't got a clue. But I'll go and have a look at that now and I'll let you know.